The favourite from the Sun now, daily Handicap Chase, 225, 3 miles, 2 furlongs, 9 runners set to go to post, and Broadway Boy, fascinating runner for the Tristan Davis team. They've won this race twice in the last 7 years. So is Venetia Williams, who runs Easy as That with Charlie Deutsch on board, and 3 under through 5 for Ella McNeil, Paul Nichols, and Harry Cobden, second run after a wind up. They're the top 3 in the betting. Who appeals to you most?
Well, there you go. 300 through 5 didn't win his first run after a wind up, so that's one of the stats just knocked a little bit, but maybe
blown to pieces.
Maybe on his second run after a wind up he can do it. I actually there's an argument that the second run after a horse's wind up is better. I really think it depends on the horse, and a lot of people read into it. I do quite like it. I think sometimes the first run after their wind up, they're still thinking about whether it's going to catch them, whether they're going to stop, and they actually don't realize till they're put under that pressure that, oh, actually I can get through this. And so sometimes the second run, and quite often actually the second run, they're even better. And 300 through 5, that form from the Badger Beer is I'm getting that right, aren't I? The Badger Beer.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I think that and the second run after wind up, like I say, I do think that's more of a positive for me, or a pointer for me. Sorry, I do really like him. You can't get away from Broadway Boy's performance at Cheltenham the last day. Given a brilliant ride by Tom Bellamy. And took 1 or 2 chances on the way around, but I think that's the way he likes to look that way that day, like it was the best way to ride him, and he got them all under a lot of pressure and won really, really well. But this is a tougher task up £9, and I think 300 through 5 just might be one that will come on for his first run, second run after win. I really think it could be a good hour for the McNeils.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I got Ella on the show this week, because the more I looked at these races during the week, the more confident I was that they'd both go and win. I didn't really expect Broadway Boy to actually line up here, despite the fact that he was jocked up on Tuesday with Sam Tristan Davis. I thought they might go somewhere else, but it's significant that he lines up given the stable record in the race, and that was a really impressive performance in Novice Company the last day. He's not massively clear of this field. He has the potential to be an awful lot better than 146, of course, but he doesn't have the battle hardness and the experience for a big race like this that 300 through 5 has. And I don't know, that the price is 7-2. While it appeals for Thunder Rock, it really doesn't appeal with him. But I wouldn't be surprised if he won.
Yeah, the only slight negative to your comment there is negative is the wrong word, but is that he doesn't have to be so battle hardened in the sense that I think he'd be ridden fairly aggressively, and he's not going to be in too much hustle and bustle in the middle of the race. He's either going to be good enough or he's not. I don't think he's going to have to have too much. He won't have too much traffic or trouble to go through to be sort of battle hardened in a race like this. I think he's either going to be good enough from the front end or he's not.
Yep, that makes perfect sense. Easy as That finished well in the Paddy Power Gold Cup last time out. A mistake halfway through that race pretty much ended his race on the day, but he stayed on really well towards the end. He should step forward from that, and I think he's going to improve for the step up and trip as well.
100%. Exactly what I've said here. He's down £2. Mistake didn't do many favors. Took him a little bit of time to get back onto an even keel after that mistake. Finished his race off well. Step up and trip. Easy as That is definitely there with a huge chance. And like you said before, I wasn't privy to that, but Venetia's got a pretty decent record in the race as well, you said, so that's another huge plus. She obviously has maybe had this race in mind especially if the Paddy Power didn't go to plan, which it looked like it didn't. Then this race was next for her, and she's a trainer that always has a plan of a string of races for her horses, you know. So I'm sure this was there from a while back.
Yeah, and of course they could very easily have gone for the Virgin Bet Handicap Chase, but she wants to take the big step up and trip. And I think that is a tip in itself, particularly for a stable who've got such a good record in the race. And it seems as though every Saturday, Betfair Chase, Feature Chase, Venetia Williams is walking away with a big prize. Maybe it's going to be this weekend as well. Maybe the most obvious one, though, is staring us right in the face. Last year's Betfair Chase winner, Protectoract. No King George, no Savills Chase. He was in both. Instead, they're going to run off top weight over 3 mile 2 in a handicap. What do you make of that decision, and how do you think he's going to fare?
Well, Faki Erduderee's got a lot of weight to carry, and this horse has got a lot of weight to carry, but they're both not without chances, I think. I mean, did Dan ever say what exactly or why exactly he was disappointed with him in Haydock?
I don't think he went into full detail on it, because he was quite bullish about him in the build-up. Even on the day, he was very bullish he was going to run a big race. Now, he was very quick to put his hands up and say no excuses.
Yeah.
I'd have a slight worry about, I would still have a slight worry about Dan Skelton's form. He's having winners. He's had 6 winners in the last 2 weeks, but a lot of very well-fancied horses who have fallen out the back of the telly.
Yeah, they haven't really just hit full flow yet. That is true. And, but as long as they keep having winners here and there, and you said 6 in the last 2 weeks, it will turn, you know. And if there's some particular reason that there's a little bit of a cloud over a certain amount of horses in the yard, and they're just trying to work their way through it, I'm sure if that was the reason that this horse was slightly disappointing, well, very disappointing at Haydock, he wouldn't be coming here if they didn't think that whatever stopped him there is still affecting him. Yeah, I'm sure of that. And his Betfair form, some of his graded form, got to bring him into this even off top weight.
I mean, even the form with the Hoy Senior, he was disappointing, arguably his favorite in a Cotswold Chase earlier this year, but still, that form in the context of this race reads very, very well. And it's a dramatic drop in class. You're going from grade 1s into still a class 1 race, but top weight in a handicap, giving quite a considerable amount of weight away. Surely they're only doing this because they're very, very confident of a huge run.
That is my point. I feel like there'll be no stone unturned. They certainly wouldn't want to have back-to-back poor efforts. And obviously it was a huge disappointment at Haydock, but I'm expecting a massive run from him in this. I think he's got to be thereabouts. Whether burdening 12 stone is just going to be too much, only time will tell. But if he's not there between the last 2, challenging down to the last, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, I would be too. It's still a lot of weight to be giving to 300 through 5, though.
Yeah.
It sounds like we both really like Paul Nicholls' horse here.
Yeah, hugely. Yeah, it's great. I mean, obviously, McNeil family, they're always thereabouts, but this season they seem to be having a stellar time of it, and it's nice to see for any real good supporter of the game, which Max is. You gotta love to see them having winners, you know. So it's great that this year is. I don't know exactly the statistics, but I feel like he's having a pretty good run of it compared to maybe the last 18 months or so.
Yeah, Ella was going through some of the horses that they had last year that picked up niggling injuries, even just tiny injuries, but enough that it ended their season there and then. And it seemed as though every single week they were getting a phone call about another horse that had a setback, whereas now those horses are ready to come back, and the horses they have running are absolutely flying it. So exciting time for the McNeil family, and I think they will have the double. I'm hugely confident of a big run here from 300 through 5. He's run 5 times off a break of between 26 and 35 days. He's won 3 of those. There's a theory he's better going right-handed than left, but 3 of his 4 wins were recorded with RPRs of 153 on left-handed tracks. And 153 is his top Racing Post rating. He's without a win in 7 starts, but he'll love the ground, relishes a test of stamina. You can argue no favors done by the handicapper, but he deserves the position he's in, deserves the rating he has. Second run after a wind up, and ran a blinder last time out. I think he's going to be very, very difficult to beat.
There you go. Easy. Back 300-2-5, 9-2.
Easy game. Easy game. The potato race, the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle, registered as the Bristol Novices Hurdle. Albert Bartlett, for all your potato and spuds needs. Go on.
There's been a spanner in the works, isn't there? Isn't the Gold Cup the potato race this year as well?
Wait a second. Surely the Gold Cup is still the Boodles, no?
I did I not see AP with the Gold Cup and Albert Bartlett the other day? Could be getting this completely wrong.
But, is it going to be the potato Gold Cup? I think it's still the Boodles.
Right,
maybe they borrowed it for the winner of the potato race will go on to be the Gold Cup hero.
Possibly.
I'll tell you what if you watch that back, you'll probably see McCoy's wearing Boodles jewelry with the pack of Albert Bartlett potatoes beside him as well. Nice. It's just ultimate in marketing. And we too will happily follow in behind Tony McCoy and be corporate chills and plug it all. No problem whatsoever. Shanna Bob for Nicky Henderson and Nico de Boinville heads the betting. A general 2-1 shot. Where are you looking in this race? It's an interesting one, but a tricky one at the same time.
Really tricky. I love this Destroy the Evidence. I love his race style just suits David Bass down to a T. Just needs cajoling from flag going to post. Needs cajoling going to post. That's Bassy just loves pushing, and this is a step up for him, but you talked about battle hardened early on. He's had plenty of goes. He's won 3. He got beaten by a horse of Ollie Murphy's, the McNeil's, called Butch, who is a pretty decent yardstick. So it was no blot on his copybook to get beat by Butch that day. 2 good wins around Kempton. Probably beat turned out the back of Kempton the last day and just really grinded it out to win well in the end. Shanghai Bob, obviously the favourite from Nicky's, won around Plumpton, beating probably not a whole lot. And he's winner of a point. I probably paid pretty decent money for him, and I'm sure he's a nice horse going forward for connections, and probably open to way more improvement than Destroy the Evidence. But Destroy the Evidence has got the form there to suggest he will run a huge race, and I really like him. I think Nicky's horse will have to be decent to beat him.
Yeah, I like him an awful lot as well for Kim Bailey and David Bass. I think that performance the last day off a mark of 122 sets a very, very tall order. Nicky's horse might well be a whole lot better than that going forward, but is he going to be better than that on this day? And at 2-1, I'm not really interested in paying that kind of money to find out. So Destroy the Evidence, certainly a very, very good each way scumbag account closer type bet.
Yeah. You're putting your neck on the line there, aren't you? Each way 5-1, but okay.
Oh, we're coming in with brave opinions here on the Final Furlong podcast. Oh my good, my stars! Each way at 5-1. Whatever will the bookies do? The 335, the Virgin Bet Saturday money back mares handicap hurdle class 2.
Just back 1 second. If you are looking at an each way for that race, Moon Dorange.
I'm very glad you mentioned him,
Connell, because that Johnny Who that beat him up at Carlisle was unbelievably impressive that day, I thought. Now, Mooned Orange was only third the next day at Thurles, but third behind Will Do of Gordon's, and I not beaten too far, and I mean 12-1. I just think that he's got the potential to be in the mix anyway, and that's a big price about him.
Yeah, I did a stable tour with John at the beginning of the season, and he was very positive about him. He wasn't saying, look, this is the next big superstar, but he was certainly saying he's a horse he's looking forward to seeing in this type of race for the rest of the season. Obviously, the stable went through a really difficult patch there. They couldn't buy a winner, but Mahler Mission ran an absolute stormer. They are having winners now again. First time cheek pieces, double figure price. I don't think he had much of a chance against Well Do the last day. He was a long odds on favorite, was expected to win, and did what was expected. Ben Harvey doesn't get the £3 claim, but that's not going to matter. Ben's a really good jockey. Yeah, there's an awful lot to like about him.
Yeah, I just thought he was too big in this. It's not a bad little contest, but it's not the best Grade 2 novice we've seen at Cheltenham, is it?
No, it's not. And thanks to Proform, John McConnell's got a 31.25% strike rate in novice hurdles. And first time cheek pieces, not exactly a compelling case, but 11.43% for John McConnell when he uses them. So he does train winners first time in cheek pieces, but whether or not you want to be following him blindly on that remains to be seen. But there's enough upside there. He'll like the ground. He should have no problem with the distance. He won't have any issue with the distance. If you're looking for something at a big price, I can see why he's come in from 16s into 12s.
Yeah, he's got to be in each way. I mean, he's an each way bet. I mean, if he suddenly isn't an attractive each way price because too many people take the each way value, then that's a different story. But I can see him run the big race at 12-1.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned him. He's one left-handed as well. Yeah, there's an awful lot to like about him. Ground, is he better on good ground?
Possibly, but I think it's be interesting to see what the ground actually rides like at Cheltenham. I'm not too far away, and we haven't had a lot of rain over the last few days, which could mean it could ride pretty dead in testing because we had a lot of rain before that. But it does dry out pretty quick, and it's a bit of a wind out there today. It will be really interesting to see. I'm going over later. It'll be interesting to see what it actually rides like.
Yeah, very much so. Let's jump to the Virgin Bet every Saturday. Money back, Mares Handicap Hurdle Class 2. 2 miles, 4.5 furlongs. Bontenay for Fergal O'Brien and Paddy Brennan, 100-30 favourite. Theatre Glory off top weight at 12 stone. An 11-2 shot for Nicky Henderson and Nico de Boinville. Nurse Susan for the Skeltons is a 6-1 shot. Theatre Glory is the class angle in this race. Question is she going to get away with the ground?
Yeah, that's a big question, but I mean, she brings graded form into this race, and Fergal's mare Botany really on the upgrade, and when these mares are improving, I mean, you don't know where the ceiling is. They just I love to see when they get into a role like this, and she's up to 1, 2, 3 now, but she could end up into the high 130s, and so maybe after this race 1, 2, 3 is going to look pretty kind, a really good winner Hereford last day, but I mean that it was Hereford, and it was a race she probably should have been winning, but she did it with a really only won by neck, but it was a really grinding out performance, and probably looked like she would be improving off the back of it. But I do think that Theatre Glory, I think if she gets away with the ground, she'll be very hard to beat. I think she's it was a good run at Ascot the last day. Pretty keen to say or pretty sure in saying that she'll have improved for that Ascot run, and definitely the standout form coming into this race. by a long way.
Yeah, 100%. Even her 4-length third to Grey Dawning would read really well here. Not beaten far by Nappers Hill. He's going for the Feltham Novice Chase now, the Cottle Star Novice Chase on Boxing Day, St. Stephen's Day. I don't want to be giving out Russian disinformation, by the way. I believe that is the plan, that of all the Nichols Chasers, that's the one who's going to go there. I believe that's shaping up to be a really fascinating race, by the way, which hopefully we'll be talking about next week. Hard to believe. It's only a couple of weeks away, William. But Bontenay is a really, really interesting runner here, or whatever the pronunciation is. It's too early for me, William. It's way too early for me. Brain not fully engaged, not enough coffee in system. But if you click on the Racing Post and go to quotes, there is Fergal O'Brien talking about how Bontenay's won a lot of races for us. Hopefully that'll put her spot on for Cheltenham in December. So straight after that race, on the day in the winner's enclosure, he's telling the media this is the plan for this horse. Probably in and around why she's the price she is. And just watching that race back this morning, a lot went wrong for her. She did well to win.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was a really grindy performance, but it was likable. In the end, it was likable how she did it.
What do you make of Good Luck Charm? Trying to find a horse at a bigger price for the Honeyball team. Sam Tristan Davis on board. She was really game the last day under Rex Dingle, beat Vicky Vale by 2.5 lengths. She's off that day. She won off 107. She's up to 117 now, but she did look like a horse who would improve for that run.
She's actually due to drop down in the weights, I think.
I think you're right about that.
When she's being reassessed. So she's not obviously, sorry, no, that's a lie. She's £5 out of weights is what it is it?
Yeah.
But I thought.
No, you're right. She comes down £5 on the back of this. For whatever reason, the BHA have decided, hey, you know the way you were a really good winner the last day? We're going to drop you £5 the next day.
Yeah. So she's not on that. She's not exactly really well treated, but I actually quite like Honeyball's other mare in this. She'd been campaigned all summer on the flat and done pretty well. She was second to a horse of Ian Williams's and her last run at Newmarket. That form's pretty decent, and then a good winner at Kempton. Back over hurdles just 3 weeks ago. I thought she of the Honeyball too. I thought she was the one.
Okay, I like that. Rex Dingle, of course, chooses that horse as well. The positive is Sam Tristan. Yeah, I'm glad you're going for the pronunciation and not me. Let's go at number 4, shall we? The Soldier of Fortune. Yeah, number 4 on your race card. She's a 7-1 shot. I'm very interested in Good Luck Charm from an each way perspective. Just trying to find a bit of value. Ground is no issue to her. That was a really likable performance last day, and she was a little bit weak in the betting that day as well. She was an 18-1 shot. I'm sure I saw her at 20-1 during the week for this. She's down to a best price 10-1. Sam Tristan Davis is absolutely mustard around Cheltenham, so getting him is a major bonus. And Anthony Honeyball, a fantastic trainer. I think she offers a little bit of each way value for all that she is carrying £5 more than she should be in future races. Final race, we'll switch to Doncaster for the 3:15, the Bet365 Handicap Chase. Mr. Coffee, is he ever going to win a race? Well, maybe this weekend is the weekend he finally breaks his maiden over fences. James Bowen rides for Nicky Henderson, 11-2 shot. Same price for the aforementioned Anthony Honeyball's forward plan. Ben Godfrey takes £3 off him. They're both 11-2. Just ahead of Sail Away for Dan Skelton and Fergus Gillard, a 6-1 shot. And a horse I really like for this race, Laura Morgan's Whistle in the Dark with Kevin Brogan on board. Best price 13-2 as we record. Set the scene for us.
Well, you told me that Whistle in the Dark can't get beat, so I mean, I'm not sure there's any point in going any further, is there? But look, start with him. Rocketed up the weights last season this year for 4 wins on the bounce. Obviously had the summer off and came back into the Paddy Power. Wasn't fancied. Made a he made a mistake pretty early, I think, and he sort of ran okay, I guess, but will have come on for that. This step up in trip is going to be a plus, and I can definitely make a case for him. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
I think the drop in class combined with the step up and trip all combine really well for him here, and he'd have a very high pro form speed figure. In fact, joint third best speed figure in the race.
Joint third best. What's 1-2?
I don't know if I should say it, because to be fair, pro form is incredible value. It's incredible data, but you do have to pay for it. So I think it's only fair that I reveal that little bit of data. And if you want to find out the rest of it, subscribe now to Proform.
Go get some Proform, yeah. You asked the question, is Mr. Coffee ever going to win a big one? I thought this was his chance.
Oh.
Yeah. Obviously he was he disappointing behind Broadway Boy at Cheltenham? Possibly a little bit, but we did say how good Broadway Boy was. Is it fair to say he'll improve for that first run? I definitely think so. He's obviously was third at Cheltenham behind Gardamanil last year in the National Hunt Chase, as it now is. He was beaten at Uttoxeter by a pretty decent horse of Longsdon's the time before, Gutapan Kalange. Yeah, he's probably always looked a little bit like had he really was he man enough to win a decent enough race? But I think this is a best opportunity he's had for a good handicap like this. I think it's the easiest opportunity he's had to win a race like this.
I like that. I very much like that bullishness and that confidence. He's going to win one. I say that and then I'm like but I just don't know if I trust him. Like, he is going to win one of these races at some point. He's going to do it for Nicky. I just don't know when. Maybe you're absolutely spot on. Maybe this is the day. And James Bowen's a great booking for him. He'll get a good tune out of him.
It doesn't look like hugely strong. I mean, you're making a case for Whistling in the Dark. Can you have forward plan or sail away?
No. Cue them finishing first and second now.
Well, yeah, no. Here, look at me. That's what we're here for. We're here to tell everybody what not to back, and then back something else. But he. I just sort of I'm not. Look, forward plan ran in the Badger Beer and first run and likely to come on for it, and a couple of really good efforts last year, and he won a couple of races around Southwell, but this is you're talking about Mr. Coffee who took on some really he's got to give a stone and a pound, but took on some really top quality horses, and although didn't win, he wasn't disgraced. I mean, he's been placed and not beaten that far, and eighth in a national, and this is definitely his best opportunity. I mean, I probably sail away from Skelton's Yard. Really improved all through last season, and again, their form is being just a little bit hit and miss. And if this horse was to just, if their form was to, if I was to tell you that their form was going to turn today, then you'd have to think, well, this horse, off the back of his first run of the year, would come there with a huge chance. So I think I'd have sail away ahead of forward plan. But again, he's not just got the form against top quality horses that Mr. Coffee has.
I just had a flashback to me watching the Grand National and holding my head in my hands going, how the hell is Mr. Coffee going to win the Grand National? Because he was cruising. He was traveling over everything that day under Nico de Boinville. And then the petrol gauge just went empty the further they went. But at 3 miles, this is his trip. And this is where he's going to win one of these races. And maybe, just maybe, this is going to be the day. You're kind of bringing me around, actually. The more you talk about him,
have I convinced you yet?
The more you talk about him, the more I'm about to completely flip-flop, jump away from Whistle in the Dark and switch to good old Mr. Coffee. I'm staying with Whistle in the Dark, but you make a really good case for Mr. Coffee. And yeah, maybe by Saturday morning, by the time I've heard, the hamster will have continued to run on the wheel, and maybe your wise words will just have completely taken over and I'll actually jump on board with them. Of all the horses we've talked about, who are you most confident about seeing and betting on this weekend?
Mr. Coffee.
Well, now I am going to have to completely flip-flop. All those carefully curated opinions, all that research, just tossed out the window straight away to follow William Kennedy. And I think the each-way double Thunder Rock and 300 through 5. I'm going to put up the nap as the each-way double Thunder Rock and 300 through 5. That's a cowardly bet, by the way.
Yeah, I was just gonna let you stop and then say, why not the double?
Just on the nose, let it ride. There's a great film with Richard Dreyfuss set in a racecourse. The late great, oh God, what was the name of that phenomenal actor who he played?
I know the film, but I can't quite think it. It's not. He wasn't in. Oh my God, are we being stupid now? Did he do that film with Tom Cruise as well?
Yes, I think he did.
Cruel film. Oh my God, what's his name?
You're thinking of Newman.
Yeah.
I can't remember if Richard Dreyfuss was in that.
No, I'm not thinking of Newman. No. Oh God, it's getting out of my head now.
Robbie Coltrane, that's who I was thinking of. He was in Cracker, which was an amazing show, and that's a legendary actor. But he plays the guy who runs the tote betting kiosk, and it's set on a race course. He's a professional gambler. Just let it ride. I think you can watch it for free on YouTube. Well worth it. Well worth recommending. Although sometimes you have nostalgia for a film that you really enjoyed watching at the time, and you tell people on a night out, "Oh, this film's amazing," and then years later you watch it back and you're like, "Oh, this did not age well at all."
No,
so,
yeah.
I fondly remember Let It Ride. Maybe it doesn't quite hold up, but it's worth checking out. Right, Scumbag each way double for me. The McNeil family horses, 300 through 5, and Thunder Rock. That's the reason I got Ella McNeil on, and then got a whole lot of great information from her about the novice hurdlers, novice chasers, and that very exciting bumper horse. To find out about, you can watch that now on YouTube. And it's Mr. Coffee for William Kennedy. Christmas racing previews on the way. We'll break down all the best of the weekend's action with Katie Young and good old George Gorman as well. George and Katie have been providing some fantastic insight on the show. And of course, William has as well. If you like this, likes, shares, subscribes on YouTube. I believe, is that right? Are we allowed to confirm this? We've hit a whopping number of subscribers on YouTube. We're up to 18 subscribers. This is amazing. 18 subscribers on YouTube. We're very new to the YouTube game, so any little help, just a little sympathy subscription, be much appreciated. Thanks very much. But thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. William and I back a little bit more as we build up to the Christmas racing next week on the Final Furlong podcast. Best of luck for the weekend. Look after yourself and each other. God bless.